Welcome everybody to the elevation call here, the third weekend of August, and I'm glad you're here. And I know there'll be some more people joining. We've got I think a good call tonight. Going to recognize some people. Got some new people on the call, fairly new to our team, which we're really excited about having them on the call. And we're going to jump off here by 7:45 because our own team leaders, Mary Ellen and Roger Ziliak, are doing the national overview presentation tonight. And so we want to give them time.
And just as a shout out, thank you to those who actually volunteer to do that call, which is on Sunday evening, on Tuesday evening, and on Thursday evening.
And the requirement is you're an area ambassador or above to do that national call. And I really encourage people to get on that call. I'm not saying you have to be on every one, but from time to time, check those calls out for yourself, because we're moving slides around. We're adding, basically right now, there's some good changes happening from leadership from the field. Part of that is how we do the presentation. The overview, the thing you invite people to see kind of an overview of the business and the different product line, and to invite them to take a look at the opportunity. Anyway, that's what Roger and Mary Ellen are doing tonight at 8. We're going to talk a little bit more about all of that whole idea of input from the field to enhance the, really to give value to the listening audience, whether it's an ambassador who's wanting to build their business, on some of these national calls. We'll talk a little bit more about that in a few minutes.
And then to those of you who are newer on this call, Elevation Call is our team call. And we do this twice a month on Sunday at 7 p.m. Central, so 8 o'clock Eastern. These calls are recorded and they are on our YouTube channel, Team Unlimited, not to be mistaken with the rap group. There's a difference, but we love this call. We look forward to it. It's really a way to elevate your business, elevate your game. This is for people who really are focusing on wanting to learn how to use the Zilis platform to create a financial return, and also how to grow and develop as a human. And one of the ways we start this call is by recognizing those who are growing as a team. We have a top 25 leaderboard, and that is actually in the back office, so everyone can look at it. But Hal, give us an update on how we're doing.
So through the 21st of the month of August, on the international leaderboard with Zilis, there's actually a lot of international people, as y'all know, in Latin America, on that board in the top 25. But we have 2 people from our team on the leaderboard. One at number 11, Kimberly Watkins, out of Indiana.
No.
Out of Georgia. Yeah, out of Georgia. And then, which is awesome. Congratulations, Kimberly. Kind of new to the leaderboard. Yes, so great. But then someone she's connected to is not unfamiliar with the leaderboard. That's a double negative. Probably shouldn't say it that way. Someone who's very familiar with our leaderboard, and that's Kristen Olander, who is number 3 in all of Zilis.
Eric standing in for Team Kristen.
That's right.
And Eric. And so very proud of that.
That's awesome. So congratulations. Let's keep it going. Want to see more people on that board. And this comes through enrolling new people, whether it be a wholesale customer or any of the kits, the business opportunity kits, enrolling them this month. So, all right. Then on the personal volume board, we have 2 people there. Number 20 is Lisa Hall, and from literally parts unknown all over the country. No, I don't have any idea.
She's all over the place. Yeah,
I know
she travels in an RV. Many of you guys have heard Lisa.
She's been traveling a lot here lately.
Traveling a lot.
Yeah, and then out of Indiana, Susan Everett.
Woohoo!
Susan Everett, look at you. All right. At number 18. So number 20, number 18. Yeah.
She's doing the happy dance.
Yeah, there you go. So anyway, congratulations.
So I have another congratulations in order, and I want to congratulate Hal Henson for passing his online travel agent. He actually printed out his certificates, and he's doing the Macarena as we speak. But Hal, I want to just, not only recognize you, but also let's recognize the others who have passed that online travel agent.
They did it before me.
They did it before you. They blazed the trail. And then I have a few questions for you.
Okay. So that was Roger Ziliak.
Well, Patty Bug was the first one.
First in all of Zilis.
Absolutely. And then Roger Ziliak and Jennifer Seibert And then is there anyone else that we have not yet recognized? If not, then Hal, I have a question for you.
Okay, what's that?
My question is, I know that you've been really passionate about the health CBD part of the business. So you have taken the lead for you and I just to kind of dive in and learn this whole travel business. But why, as an entrepreneur, have you been interested and really have become even more passionate about the travel opportunity?
Honestly, I think you nailed it as an entrepreneur, because it fit with being an entrepreneur. The opportunity that the way it is with Zilis, the travel component to this business platform, that being Zilis and everything that they offer. At first, I was not at all excited about it. I can tell you, I was like, oh my gosh, another thing they're adding to this. And I'm not the only one that felt that way. At first, that was my first reaction. It was like, man, we got this. We're really, we've been in the cannabinoid space, the nutritional space, the skincare, the coffee, and then all of a sudden we make this jump to travel. And so I was like, how do we do that? How do we make that work? But then I thought, wait a minute. Yes, I have been excited about cannabinoids. Why? Because I've seen it change people's lives. I mean, the health part of it and all the things that it does. I actually have no science background, so I was kind of fascinated by the science. It made sense to me from a kind of a layman's understanding, and that's how I explain it. And I could do that and have learned to do that. And we've seen personal financial benefit from that, but mostly seeing people's lives change. So that's been the focus of the platform. Then they jump to travel, and I'm like, well, what made me excited was I said, okay, I'm stepping away from this being such a cannabinoid science company. I'm going to step back from it and really see what it is, which is an opportunity that meets more people's needs. And it will open more, people are more open to hearing about travel than they are about the science of cannabinoids. Though the cannabinoids, frankly, are more important than taking a cruise. But people are open to that. And so I actually, when I made the shift in my mind to say, I want to see this whole thing, all of Zilis, as a platform upon which you can have better health. You can shift where you spend some of your money on nutritionals, vitamins, and so forth. And now you can shift where you put your money when you go to sign up to make a trip, to do a trip, whether it's just a flight, a hotel, a cruise, a 3-day deal, a big trip, and actually earn through that, as well as build your business through those opportunities. That I made that shift. And I know there are still some people who have not made that shift, and some may never. Those of you on this call, some of you may never make that shift. But here's a good example of what we did just this week. We were shopping at a local store and small store locally, and really not shopping, just looking, right? And the lady that was there, she had one other customer other than us. And somehow it came up. She asked us, what do y'all do? And I just kind of turned around. I was over on the side looking at some things, I don't even know what it was, but I turned around and said, well, I'm in the travel business. And she goes, really? I love to travel. Matter of fact, our church, me and 8 other people are getting ready to do a mission trip to Peru. Do you think you could help us? I mean, that's what literally she said. It was just like that. And it turns out that this lady was very, very open and ended up having coffee with Lisa because of her multiple health issues, and actually got her on product, on Glow
and CB and Shield.
And Shield. And then she sent me some information on their trip to Peru, which is a very unique situation. Anyway, long story short, I passed that on to Rob. Haven't landed any of that as far as building our team with her, but we've made a new friend. And, I don't know where the conversation would have gone had we just said, well, we're in health and wellness, or some of the things we've said. But I was like, wow, that was kind of cool just to have that other offering of what we do.
Yeah,
So
absolutely. And we're going to talk.
that was a long answer.
That was a good answer, but
okay. All right.
we're going to talk a little bit more here because I'm going to ask Mary Ellen a couple of questions. But before we do that, I wanted to we have really one topic tonight, and then we have a couple of questions for a couple of people. But tonight, we're wanting to announce something very exciting. And many of you guys, in fact, most of you guys know what the Freedom Call is. And the Freedom Call, is an every Monday call for the entire Zilis Nation, led by Steven Thompson primarily. It's at 8:00 Central. And we now have an opportunity with the Freedom Call. So tell us what's going on.
Yeah. So when I first joined Zilis in October of 2018, with the help of my sister, Holly Dickinson, who I think is still here on the call, unless she got tired of hearing me talk. She's still there. Anyway, back then, the Freedom Call was a Monday night call at 8:00 over the phone as a conference call. And they did some corporate updates. Here's the news. Here's the promotions. They did it pretty much the same way they do it now for the most part. Stephen did a little bit of training and updating, but it was by phone. Then when the pandemic hit, they shifted and did like everything else, went to the Zoom overview. And so going through the pandemic, though, I will say that for many of us, for a lot of different reasons, the Freedom Call has really kind of lost a little bit of its shine. And there's a lot of different reasons for that. But what's really neat is that in the last few weeks, the Stephen, corporate, some of us leaders have kind of stepped up and said, we feel like that the Freedom Call needs to have more value to and feel of value to the field who tune in. And so I don't know how many of you were on the call last week, but it had a significant change. I personally have a meeting that I go to apart from Zilis from 7 to 8:00 pretty much every Monday night. So a lot of times I have to stay a little after that meeting, so I don't get on that call as promptly as others do. But when I tuned in about 10 after 8, I could tell there was a difference in the energy, in how it was going. It felt really good. And so some of the changes that we as leaders from the field, working with Shannon and even Stephen, felt like we'd made a little step in progress on that Freedom Call. Well, then the next thing we said was, we need to encourage our teams really to embrace that call again, and to give us feedback on it and to participate with it and promote it, so that if we know you're there to get value, we're going to do even more, we hope, to bring a value to you on that call.
So here's what we need from you guys. We want to hear your stories. And so on the Freedom Call in the future, it will be corporate updates, just like we always have. But there will be a host, and usually it's going to be one of the top leaders. And there will be a training. There will be product testimonials. There will be business testimonials. And that's where we really need you guys. Through the next year, I'm going to ask every single one of you guys to refine your Zilis story, so that we can get you on a Freedom Call to share that with Zilis Nation. It will scare us all to death.
The bigger your businesses grow, the more stories you're going to hear, the more people you're going to be introduced to. We heard a story last week on the call from a fairly new user of the products. All of you have stories in which you're telling to people. I believe the greatest power of our business is your story that you share with people. And the details of how other people can experience that are secondary, though, they just really are. I think it's the power of our stories that are the easiest to tell. And so we don't want that at all to feel intimidating. I think you'll enjoy it. We hope in time that many of you will be able to be invited on. Really, to me, the most exciting thing is that you would introduce Zilis to someone who introduces it to someone, and then it's that third or fourth someone that ends up being on the call. Wouldn't that be cool? I mean, that's really what we enjoy the most, are the people who have recently had their lives impacted through what we do and through what you do, that we get to, hear about, or to tell that story, to broadcast it more. And so that's a part of what's going to be happening going forward. So
the other thing, and if you guys were on the call Monday, they did some giveaways.
yeah,
And they're going to continue to do some giveaways, but you've got to be on the Freedom Call in order to get one of the random participants a giveaway.
we were somewhere this weekend, not related to Zilis, and you had to buy raffle tickets potentially to win a baskets of goodies. And Lisa didn't, she's like, I don't need any more junk. I don't need any more blankets, or I don't need more little trinkets or cookies or whatever. So we didn't do that. And I was like, oh, I'd like to win something, and I come back from the break last night, and she stuck these 5 raffle tickets in my pocket. And I'm like, I thought we weren't doing this. And she said, well, it was the 50-50. It was for cash. So
I don't have cash.
Anyway, we all love drawings. We all like to participate. It's fun to get on the call, to listen, to hear if your name's going to be called, even if you really don't want what they're giving away. It's just fun to have your name called and you win something. So they're going to be doing that each week, which I think is really, really healthy for all of us at this time.
Well,
So
and what I'm excited about is that using the Freedom Call to grow our teams.
that's it.
Not just as an obligation that we have to be on this call every Monday night, but literally something that's fun. We learn things. We're hearing news stories. Those stories can be little clips. Oftentimes, guys, I'm just telling you, you'll hear things on the Freedom Call that you'll never get in the back office because they can't record them. They're not compliant. They're going to hear products, stories. You're going to have stories of people who've had amazing results with the product, and they don't save those things. So you got to be on there live in order to get the information.
If you weren't on the call last Monday night, I would encourage you to go back. No, that's the Freedom Call is posted.
Yes, but they don't record. They don't post some of the product's testimonies.
Okay, well, Lee Barnes, her training last week
yeah.
was really, really good. The slide deck that they created for that Freedom Call was, I thought, man, parts of that actually should be in our opportunity presentation, and maybe it will eventually get there. But her and Shannon worked really hard, put in a lot of time in a really short amount of time to do that. We're actually going to be presenting, not this week, not tomorrow night,
The 29th.
but next week, on freedom. And not like independence freedom, like, isn't it great that we live in a free country, but on what freedom that we have gotten while we have been in Zilis, or why do we talk about freedom and what freedom provides, and the kinds of freedoms that we believe that we've experienced, that we have shared with many people, the freedom that we offer to other people, how you can earn that freedom. I think that's going to be a part of what I focus on next week, is the price that you pay for your personal freedom. We live in a country where freedom has been paid for by others, and generations of that, but the price you have to pay, the work you have to do. Everybody wants to be free, but if you have to work for it, are you willing to work for that kind of freedom? What are you willing to do to earn that kind of freedom for yourself? So
bottom line on Freedom Calls is, we want your stories and we want your recommendations for topics for the call, and obviously we want you on the Freedom Call.
We want you to promote it to your team. We would love to see, and we kind of know, because we're on the panel. It's not we're not trying to like take attendance, but we are personally investing more back into the Freedom Call. We're doing it for ourselves, for you, for the growth of Zilis. We think it's a really healthy shift, and we need you there. It's we draw from your energy when you're there, believe it or not. We're excited when we see your names pop up, and we just want to encourage that. But to me, what's the most exciting when I look at who's there is when a name shows up for somebody who hasn't been there in a while. Like, we haven't seen that name in a while. And there are a lot of those people, obviously. That's kind of like at church or somewhere you go, and it's like, wow, I haven't seen that person in a while, and they're back, and it's really cool to see.
So re-invite people who have at any time been on your team, and say, hey, we want you to introduce you to the new Freedom Call, which is, just started last week.
It might even start on time.
It might start and end on time.
We're really pushing for both of those things.
So some of these people are laughing.
Well, we all Ought to be
So
crying.
the Freedom Call is a tool. And so we've talked about this as a tool to help build your team. It's something you don't have to do. You don't have to put together. You can just get your team on it and watch it grow. We've also talked about this call, Elevation Call, as a tool. But the other thing we love to do on this call is catch our team doing things really, really well. And I asked Mary Ellen Ziliak and Roger if they would come on tonight and tell us a little bit about what's going on with their team. I've seen them in action. They've been doing live exhibits, and they've also done a live team meeting. And so, Mary Ellen, what's up with y'all?
We are staying very busy, but it's so exciting because actually we regrouped as a team after the Summerfest in Indianapolis, or Springfest, I forget which was which, but we immediately from that group said, hey, we have to reboot as a team. We have to pull together and play off each other's strengths because we all come from a different starting point. So that's what we did. We came back and we met as a group immediately that next week and said, what do we want to do? The people who want to grow this business and are active right now, what do we want to do as a group here locally in Evansville, Indiana? And from that, we ended up deciding we would do some double booths, I call them. We did vendor shows, and every year at the beginning of the year, I look at how many vendor shows I want to do in a year's time. And then I reevaluate in July to see if I need to add any more for the rest of the season. So we tapped into that, but we called some of the sources that were already booked for a vendor show and said, hey, is there a second booth available that we can have double the space instead of a 10 by 10? Could we have a 20 by 10, a double booth, have more people there, and have one end be the Travelogy new travel platform and one end be more our mainstream that we're more used to with the health and wellness cannabinoid products, the hemp products, and happy in between. And we literally did that. 5 of us committed to being to X amount of vendor shows with a double booth, and we divided the cost. So it was very reasonable for all of us. But we had Jennifer Seibert and my husband Roger man the Travelogy end because they are certified as travel advisors. Barbara Baumholzer and Debbie Gentry manned the other end that was more our traditional hemp-derived products and our skincare, because Debbie comes from holistic treatment. She is certified as a touch therapist, and she does a lot of energy work. Barb has great experience in oils, essential oils, and holistic things like Reiki and other energy work. And so those two did one end, Jennifer and Roger did the other. I was kind of the floating person in between. Wherever I was needed is where I went. I kind of went back and forth, but we did a catch thing with Roger in the middle. Everybody knows Roger in his cowboy hat. He doesn't meet a stranger. People feel comfortable talking to a cowboy who's asking them to sample happy coffee. So that was kind of our attention getter. I tell Roger, this sounds awful, but I pimp him out. I said, you just stand there and have fun and talk to everybody like you always do. You're the happy cowboy who's going to give out free happy coffee samples. And you'd be surprised. We had people backed up in throngs because it was an attention getter and it was non-threatening. Who wouldn't want to try happy coffee? So he'd start that, and then the conversation would evolve. Hey, you know, after they said, I love this stuff, we sold a lot of little packets of happy coffee. But then we had the conversation like, oh, you going on a vacation soon? If they were, they went to talk to Jennifer and Roger. If they were more concerned about healthcare needs, they went to Barb and Debbie. It worked great. We had on last week, Saturday, we had 4,100 attendees at this vendor show. And out of that, okay, the conversations like the travel in, we had people actually have to sign their name and number and email in order to receive a travel discount card. They had to have some skin in the game and have the conversation, and then we would give them the card. So from that, we got like 24 names that already had an initial conversation with a travel advisor, Roger or Jen, and we have follow-up meetings. This week, we've already had phone conversations and we've had people attend the follow-up live event we had at Silver Bell. So we sold product. We made a lot of new contacts. We gave out travel discount cards. People learned about many of our products, and it started out in a very non-threatening way that people just stopped to talk to the cowboy that gave away coffee. So we did that, but we made sure we had a live Travelology presentation at Silver Bell in Wadesville, Indiana, near Evansville, where we're from. And that way we had a flyer that anyone who talked to Jennifer or Roger about travel, if they were local, they had an option to learn more live and ask questions within 4 days of that event.
Gotcha.
So we have now planned all of our vendor shows to have a follow-up live event the week after. And the live event at St. Wendell, for the first one we've had for months now, I think it was good. We had 14 attend. We had 3 guests, and we had one. We didn't have anybody sign up, but we had follow-ups that we are doing live meetings after that one-on-one. So this has kind of rejuiced all of us. We're so excited, and we're tapping into the strengths and the likes of each team member. Okay. Roger and Jen are super stoked about travel. Excuse me. Barb and Debbie have always enjoyed the healthcare and the holistic approach. I like both sides, but it was just an easy way to reach out to people on all these platforms we have. So I highly recommend it if someone is interested in rebooting a team. It's great. And from that, well, before that, we'd already planned a travel vacation with all of us. So I just feel like our team has really strengthened since the Summerfest, and it's given us a fresh start with kind of reinventing the wheel and what suits us as a team. So that's what we're doing. Long answer, but there's a lot happening in Evansville, Indiana right now.
Well, it's just really fun to see you guys working and having a good time, Mary Ellen, and hearing all the wonderful things that are happening. And I know that you're probably going to go into a little bit more of your story when you guys do the overview at 8 o'clock Central. But just because we do have some new people on the call, why Zilis for you, Mary Ellen? You're a high-level nurse executive, you're an author, you're a speaker. So why Zilis for you?
Because Zilis gave me my life back, literally. My world was turned upside down 25 years ago when I got diagnosed with a chronic illness, and that chronic illness had me quit work as a director of nursing. I lost my job, my paycheck, my identity, and my purpose in life. And Zilis and the products have been a big piece of the puzzle that has given me my life back, because I went from a medicine cabinet to a wellness cabinet. I can tell these people that I was on 15 medications. Now I'm on 2. If that was the only thing that happened, I would be ecstatic. But I'm walking better. I don't use my cane. I have less pain. I got my brain fog gone. I'm happier, and I know my purpose in life again. And it's just been an improvement that started out the first day, but the longer I've been on Ultracell and Zilis products, it's changed along the way, but I feel so good that I want everybody to know this is an option that works and it's backed by science. So it's my focus as a nurse to educate people about this option. So that's why I'm in it for good.
Well, and you also were able to recruit this handsome, happy cowboy to your team. Roger Ziliak, how did she do that?
Hang on. Okay. Yeah, for one thing, seeing how well she's done, and quite frankly, when she started on this almost 5 years ago now, 4.5, she came back and was telling me how great she was with this. And I suffered from some chronic pain, arthritis type, to the point that I had a hard time doing things. I had to wear braces all the time. She was trying to convince me to use this, and I thought it was nothing but snake oil, but being the very dutiful husband that I am, I said yes, I would try it. And lo and behold, I realized after about 3 or 4 days that pain was diminishing. And the longer I was on it, the less the pain got, to the point that, I function, very highly anymore. Don't have to wear my braces. I no longer take any pain medication. I can, work out in the yard, run a chainsaw, all of that. And I can function with it. So I knew this product worked, and I saw what it was doing for her. I mean, you guys have never known Mary Ellen beforehand. I really wish we could do wish we had a way to do a snapshot of before and after, because you would not believe it. Yeah, I have my wife back. She has her life back. I have my wife back. So I know Zilis works, and it's just been great for us. And then when we get into all of this other, it's just exciting for the two of us to work together. And yeah, I know what you're alluding to. I've actually retired from my career to take on this with Zilis. I've been in the insurance business for 30 years, but I actually have a set retirement date of October 1 when I'm completely out of the insurance business, and I'm focusing on Zilis, particularly on the travel end, because it's exciting and it gives us a chance to work together, which I love. It's just a whole new chapter in our life. And believe me, I have no idea where it's going to go. But at a time when a lot of people are really slowing down and, okay, what can we do? I feel like Mary Ellen and I are ramping up our life. Pickleball. Just get her started about pickleball and she won't stop.
That's awesome.
Yeah, she's posting every day how she beats you on pickleball. Just letting you know. So that's awesome. And I want to encourage people. So if you just very quickly, because we have one other piece to this call before 7:45.
Sure.
But in Evansville and Mary Ellen, so Mary Ellen and a couple more, but I want to have to say, especially Mary Ellen, really decided I'm going to be a leader, and I'm going to lead here, and I'm going to do everything it takes to lead and to build. And so as a result of that, they can do a double booth. Okay. They can do a double booth in their area with 2 on this end, 2 on this end, people going back and forth in between. A number of you are by yourself. So where do you start? you just start, where did Mary Ellen start? Not with a double booth with 5 people. She started with the decision that no matter what, I'm going to build this. I'm going to build a team, and I'm going to have people to do with me. We're going to build this together in our area. So, if you're sitting here going, isn't that wonderful? It'd be nice to have a double booth with one person doing travel and another one down here doing this. Start envisioning, seeing yourself having a team that you can do that with in your area, and then share that opportunity with people in other areas, and it will grow, because it is fun to do that kind of thing. And so I just want to encourage you, if you're by yourself, don't say I'm by myself. Make a decision that you're going to lead and build. And as you build, then you're going to bring people in to do those things with you. So anyway,
Speaking of new things, new
things, new people
areas,
who also made that decision. Yes.
I want to introduce you guys, just in conclusion, to a very dear person who I think the world of, but I was not the person that brought her in our business. And so I want to shout out to Kristen Olander, and bring Wendy Berman on the call. Wendy, welcome to the Elevation Call. Wendy is from Northern California, San Francisco area. She's, I'm just going to ask you, Wendy, tell us a little bit about your background and why Zilis for you?
Yeah, well, thank you for having me on the call. So a little bit about my background. I was in the pharmaceutical industry for the better part of 15 years with the same company. I grew up with Forest Pharmaceuticals, started in 2000, was promoted to trainer, divisional sales manager. But I guess long story short, our system's just broken. Really, it is. So I won't even get into that. We'll be here all day, right? But I think all of us on this call probably agree with that. So I met Lisa at another company, and we've got our background in nutrition. And Lisa and I just had this connection with Lisa. I didn't know what it was about her, but I knew at some point, like, just that something's going to happen, whether it's a friendship and so forth. And then Kristen, a couple of years ago, introduced me to the products a little bit. And quite honestly, I was like, no, thank you, CBD. Nope. I love Kristen dearly, but it was just, I just wasn't open to hearing really about it. And so fast forwarding, Kristen and I became friends as well, which was great. I think this is what I love about what we're doing here is we're developing friendships, right? And I mentioned to Lisa the other day, like leading with love, right? And sharing our stories. And so Chris and I just happened to be talking again and mentioned Lisa again. And I'm like, you know what, let's have a call, right? And it's interesting that we are talking about freedom calls, because I started this business on August 10th, which was a freedom day for me last year. I won't really get into it, but I was freed up in a lot of ways. So it's very personal in a lot of ways to be joining this team. And that's really a little bit about my background, and really how I kind of got started was honestly, when I got my first package, I was rubbing I don't even know much about the product yet, but the CBD cream on my arm as I'm talking to Lisa and she's explaining, and I'm like, is this placebo effect? Like my arm just started feeling better right away. And then with my girlfriend Scooby, she's got back pain, and she's tried a lot of stuff on her back, and I rubbed it on her back, and she was like, whoa, like her back pain, it went away, the throbbing stopped. So that's a little bit about the beginning. And like I said, we just started August 10th. And so here I am. Thanks for having me on the call.
Awesome.
So yeah, and so here I want to say about Wendy, which I really appreciate. From the start, from when she made a decision that she was going to do more than just something with this. And as she came to that decision, she made a decision to really make an impact for other people by talking to Kristen and Lisa enough to make a really wise decision. Because it's not a small thing, especially when you come from the background that all three of them come from, where they've in a big world, okay, like in a big business world, really important stuff, you might say. It's not a small decision. And so she did her research, but once she did, it seems like what she's continued to do then is say, I mean, she's done all the things, like she's on the call with Lisa doing 3 ways, doing connections, learning, growing. How do I plug in? Here's my ideas. I want to hear from you what you think. And it's been a a mentoring kind of process that she's embraced. And so, you know, but but their conversations from what I can tell, and Wendy, I didn't know if you knew I was kind of listening to some of those.
Uh-oh, no.
Lisa, and you know, it's not, oh, hey, I got a problem with how my product works. It's not like, hey, it's a little sticky on the outside of the bag, or it's this, or it's that, or I just can't get anybody to this or that. That's not their conversations. Not
Not at all.
it's, you know, I encountered this and this is how I've overcome it. Maybe I can do something different or whatever. And so again, I say, whether you've been in Zilis 2 months, 2 years, 4 years, I think we have to make renewed decisions about what we want out of our life and how we want the next 3 months to go. And what we are asking you to do right now is to make a renewed decision about the Freedom Call, to help us with that, to engage with it, to talk to people that are on your team. The Freedom Call is, it's a family call. It's not designed to be a opportunity call to invite guests on. You can bring people who are using product and so forth to it, but it's a family call for us to work together to build our business, to learn from one another, to hear stories. So that's a decision. And so anyway.
Well, and I wanted to just give a shout out to Wendy, because Wendy, you have really done things right. You came in the right way. You know, you came in with your gold kit. You let us just kind of do the newest kit, and you know, kind of jumped in with travel, not knowing exactly what that is. So you've just been really bold and positive. And I've learned a lot from you as well. You've already started putting people on the phone with me. God bless Scooby. She was, I think, the first person that we introduced. You have just trusted me in this process. And then I've learned, I mean, you're really, really good with social media. It's one of the things that I've not really built my business that way. And you gave me a tip that I asked that you would share. Do you remember that?
Yeah, I do actually. I wrote a couple things down, but
Give us our
so
tip. Feed
what
us.
we've got, what, 3 minutes? I'll make it quick. So just a few tips, and I'm not by any means a social media specialist or anything, but the few things that I do know: before you make a post on Facebook or Instagram or any social media, spend 20 minutes commenting on other people's posts. Just share your love, that, you know, just with 3 or 4 words on a post. I don't know how Facebook works, but what it will do is create more engagement when you do your own post. So again, spend 20 minutes on other people's posts, their stories, love on them, and comment with 3 or more words, and then make your post. And then make sure when somebody comments on your post post back. You can even pose a question. And again, that'll, you know, create more engagement. So that's the first tip. And then the one that I shared with Lisa was when, you know, you get somebody, perhaps a conversation in Messenger. Like I was, there was a gal that I've been admiring for a while, Emily. I've known her, and she's with another nutraceutical company. And so we were in Messenger, and she said, I guess the bottom line was, she was like, "Oh, it's CBD. I know all about it." So at first I typed back, I said, well, actually, instead of just typing a message back, I wanted her to hear my voice. And I said, you know, Emily, I figured you would say that, because I thought the same thing too. Like, I thought it was just another CBD company, but this truly is something unique and special. You know, would you be open to taking a look at it? So the point is, like, rather than just maybe typing a message back, use that. There's a little microphone button in Messenger that you can send a little voice snippet, and just hearing the love and the tone in your voice, it's a real game changer, and you're more likely to get people to respond back to your messages. So those are just a couple of tips. I can share
Very
more
good.
on another call if you want. Yeah.
Hey, impressive, man. First time on an elevation call, and
That's what we
you're
call,
sharing your expertise. That's called masterminding.
well, and playing as a team. That's awesome. I love
Absolutely.
it.
For sure.
Thank you
Thank
so
you.
much, Wendy. And we're super excited. You and Kristen and I getting to work together again. Great job, Kristen. I know she's been working on this for 2 years. So just putting it out there, you have been worth the wait.
Oh, thank you. I love you guys.
Awesome. Well, listen, guys, I'm going to let Mary Ellen and Roger jump off as I stop the recording. But if anyone has questions or comments, Let's see here, stop the recording.